Okay, this is a little update on these parents here. Sorry, the aquarium's a little cloudy because I just cleaned. The glass was getting some algae on it. The rest of the aquarium, I need to do a full cleanup on that. But I hate to do it with the with all the babies in there. And there's hundreds of babies. I'd be worried I might suck one of them up in the with the little vacuum that you use to clean the gravel. Or they could get a rock, one of those rocks and fall over on them. But they're about to get a new home. And then mom and dad will be in here all by themselves, and they'll probably have another spawn. But look how many there are. I've got a 55-gallon aquarium that needed to be revamped. I was having problems with it. I lost some fish in it, so I took all the fish out of it. And then I just concentrated on cleaning all the filters and the surfaces and put in some new water, and I've just been letting it run by itself with no fish in it for a couple months. But now it's about to be completely inundated with little babies. It's just funny seeing little ones. I've got some little ones up there in the 55-gallon. They're from a different spawn. But the other spawn, I kept the fish in these little holding tanks to protect them from the parents. But I was just amazed how small. They're older than this group, and a lot of them are smaller, way smaller than these. It's because these are allowed to go out in the wild. We'll give them a little food. This is just crushed up regular adult fish food, and I powderize it with a little stick. I stick in there, it has a flat end on it, and just smash it. And whenever I have the fry food I get specifically made for baby fish, Hakero. It's from Japan. I was going to show it. I don't have it. I'm out of it. But luckily all the babies I have, I can transition to the regular food. So when they're really small, they can only eat the fry food. It's called Hakero. You can get it at PetSmart. Or Petco, that's where I get it, Petco, but they probably have it at PetSmart. Look at all these guys up here eating. Well, they're all going to slowly start getting transferred to the other aquarium, and I'll show you the other aquarium. Already has a few babies in it. Okay, this is the 55-gallon I was telling you all about. It's huge. Didn't have any fish in it for several months. And I spent that time cleaning it up, doing some water changes, and cleaning all the filters. It has an external filter on it, but I let it run idle for. And then I started thinking, I'm going to turn it into the biggest grow out tank for some babies. Right now, there's the babies from the other spawn. It wasn't quite as successful as this other spawn downstairs that I just showed you, but we still got some good ones. That one right in the front's the prettiest, I think. It's just got just amazing markings. It's like a pastel pink on its top fin, and then dark on the back of her fin. And she doesn't really have the stripes, just kind of like a stripe on her eye, and then kind of a hint of some stripes. Of course, she's going to hide behind the pillar right now. But most of the other ones, they're like regular silvers. They have their stripes. And there's tons. I mean, there's some that are just tiny. They grow so much bigger when they're out in the open like they are now, because before they were in a little, probably 6-inch by 3-inch little holding tank. And it protects them so they can't get into any trouble. I mean, they could get eaten by the parents. That's the main problem. But they can also just go, if you leave them, if they're really small and they come in a tank like this, they'll get up underneath rocks and get stuck. Now that they're bigger, and it's funny, I put them in here and the whole crew, there's probably about 16, no, more than 16, probably about 20 of them. But they all hang together in this one corner. They don't really venture out to see the rest of the aquarium. I've seen them come over here a couple of times, a couple of the little adventurous ones, but now they're back just hanging out by that pillar. And that power filter right there blows water. I mean, it shoots water back against that wall. So when they're over here, they're kind of safe from all that current. You can see all the vegetation These are the fake plants that are like flowing in it. But that one actually has a real plant that kind of got lodged up in the fake plant, and it's growing. I have other, this is a real plant, fake plant. And there's a bunch of real plants around that log. But I'm gonna be interested to see when I get all the other ones, because there's quite a few really good sized ones that are in that baby group downstairs of probably, I don't know, I said 100, I don't know, probably a little less than 100, but this tank is gonna be full. And I bet what we'll have is a group over here that makes this their home, and then another group over here will like take up residence over here. But their feeding ring is right here. What it does is when I put the food in there, it won't disperse as fast, you know, and get sucked up by the filters. It'll take it a little longer. This is actually that powdered Hakiri fry food from Japan. You can get it at Petco. It's really small. I would just put all regular crushed adult food in there, but there's still a few really small ones, and I saw him trying to eat the other food, the bigger food, and the little guy was eating one, and then he would spit it out because it was too big. I was like, okay, I gotta keep giving him some of the, like, you can see that food on the surface. The smaller food, you can't even see, it's like microscopic little brine shrimp. Maybe not even real, like, brine shrimp eggs. But they noticed that there'll be one or two that will actually go up there and eat from the feeding ring, but for the most part it just kind of rains down, and then once it gets over by that power head, it sweeps it across to the other side. But the majority of it just falls straight down. I cleaned all the glass, but I didn't clean this wall, is because that's the wall, it faces the sun in this room, and so I have a black cover over it, so just to keep algae down. So that's why I didn't clean it, but maybe I should. I wasn't thinking I was going to make a video right here, but all the other glass has been all nice and clean. I still need to do a little work. I'll probably do a water change, like a small water change, before I bring in all the 100 other babies. And all that does is take some of the toxins out of the water, and you replace it with fresh, clean Louisville, City of Louisville water. It's actually not bad water. I gotta dechlorinate it, but other than that, it's really good water. I sometimes won't even dechlorinate it. And if it's a small amount, it won't hurt the fish. A big aquarium like this. See, there's those tiny ones. It's like little bitty ones. And they've been alive as long as the big ones. I don't know why they're not growing. Like that little guy right there. But I think now that he's in a bigger aquarium, and there'll be plenty of food, I bet they'll start growing more, because they just get more exercise. There actually is, I think that one might be from downstairs. I grabbed a couple from downstairs and a couple from the breeding tank that had the little pens in it, and I just put them in here for a day just to see how the water was. Whoa, I wish I'd have caught that. One little fish got caught in the current and it just swept him down, and he was like, whoa, and then he swam back. I haven't seen that happen. I should have been filming it. Anyway, so here's the alpha group, which will soon be relegated to probably the beta group when I get all the other ones in here. I better get to work.